about to get to the part where I even met hags. Grow up. I'm sorry. I think it's so stupid when people get mad at randos in their life. But okay, let me just finish my part of the story. But if you're new here, this is Mikayla Raines. She was bullied to death, and our stories are very similar. So I'm telling my story of what happened to me. So these people stole my platforms. They were so proud of themselves. They thought that they were social justice warriors. They made up all these crazy lies about me. And yeah, the trademarks kind of worked it worked for a while. I got my platforms back like 6 months later, but I hit a breaking point. And that's what I want to talk about is like when the bullying gets this bad for months on end, and like it wasn't just bullying, people stole my work. Like I've worked on these platforms for 4 years, and these women were like, you know what? And it was autistic women. It was neurodivergent women that were like, well, you don't get to have this anymore. Like what? That's so psychotic. And I'm dealing with like such a scary malignant narcissist, and it would have never gotten that crazy without Samara. So this is in like April of 2023. I have lost my accounts. They stole my stuff. They were literally trying to extort me. Carrie Ann told me I could pay her to get my names back. Like that's not how this works. She was like, you can pay me and I'll allow you to talk on the internet when I say. What? These women literally thought that they were just going to control my life and I was just going to submit to them. It was absolutely crazy. So they committed all these crimes, stole my identity. That's felony impersonation. She literally filled out like a 1.5 years worth of paperwork. Like Carrie Ann is literally going to get in so much trouble, but she literally stole my identity and saw no problem with it. And she's done similar things to people like this in the past. Like I said, I've talked to her brother. I mean, she is out of control. Like this is what she does. She tries to control. She did this with her mother-in-law, her ex-husband. She impersonated her mother-in-law for money and did some weird credit card stuff. Yeah. So I could go on for hours about Carrie Ann. But I'm just talking about how creepy people get online. And this whole time I was trying to act strong. I was trying to like laugh about it, but you hit a breaking point. You know, creators, you get used to it, but it's like, I just didn't know that I was about to take my own life or that I was about to try to. And so what happened with me is like, I had to sit down after I lost all my accounts, and Sleuthy was sending me all this stuff that I didn't need to see and getting me super worked up. And I didn't know who Sleuthy was at the time. I didn't know hags or anybody. This was an anonymous account that was just sending me all this stuff. And I didn't know that behind the scenes, this woman Sleuthy was making all these people really mad at me. Like it's such a mess. And one day I just snapped, and I either needed to go to the ER or and I made a video about it. I was like, I am getting off the internet. I am not coming to Aunt Karen's lives. Like I just lost my accounts. I was like, I need you guys to stop. And I begged people to stop, and I showed more proof. And I was like, I have to go take care of myself. Like I either have to go to the ER or something. Like I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. I've never had chest pains like that before. So I was like, I have to get offline, and I'm not playing with Aunt Karen. I wasn't gonna like play into that stupid immature stuff. And she made a video, and she was like, let's do it again. And she literally held another live about me. Like, okay. Anyways, the cruelty just snapped me. When you see other women and they're just like, we don't give a fuck, and then they stole everything, and it's over lies. Like if it was over the truth, like that would still be insane. But when you're just like, what is going on? Like and she was saying this too. She was saying like, I just feel like the whole world is against me, and they're not. The whole world is not against you, but you feel like that. And like, I did not realize I was hitting a breaking point. Like seriously, like I knew I was hitting a breaking point, but not like an actual breaking point. And I was sitting there on Instagram after I lost my accounts and kind of like making some jokes. And I didn't want these people to think that they had affected me really bad. You know, you're trying, like I was in shock. I was in actual shock. And, I was so scared of Samara. Like I had an actual millionaire stalking me. It was so terrifying. And, sorry, I'm missing so many comments. I just get so distracted. So I'm trying to get through the story. So I ended up drinking, and I relapsed on alcohol. I'm an alcoholic, and I told these people that, and I was trying to hide it. I wasn't trying to make it public, but like I didn't want to go to the ER. And so I was like, okay. And I was told by a lawyer that I should go through the Reddit thread, which was really stupid. I mean, the first lawyer I worked with was such an idiot. Oh my God. But I was told to like go through the Reddit thread because she was like, you can press criminal charges on these people. Like the Reddit thread was so out of control. And so I was like, so this was like 2 days after they took my accounts and all this stuff happened with Aunt Karen. And I had lost years of my work and all this stuff. And so I was like just sipping on White Claws and trying to document this evidence and get it over to the attorney, and reading through that Reddit thread, like literally snapped my brain. No, her husband didn't do it. Get a grip. God, you are exactly the type of person that I'm talking about. Don't start crazy rumors about people that you've never met. If there's actual evidence, we will find it, but grow up. Don't you dare say that it was her husband that did this. You guys don't know people. You are addicted to parasocial drama. You don't know anything. I can't like get a fucking grip. This is exactly how these situations happen. People like you who have to scream in a comment section, get so obsessed with these things that you know nothing about. Do you know how many people I had a woman the other day that was like, you pretended to be a therapist. You can't talk to me. Bitch, people believe the craziest lies about people. If you don't know people, you don't know anything. Okay? That is what I have learned. I was drinking one day, and trying to get some stuff done. And apparently I accidentally posted an Instagram story where there was like a White Claw in the mirror in the background, and the whole Reddit thread started celebrating. And they were like, we got Allie to relapse, like she's gonna end up in jail. And they tried to send the cops to my house. Like they were literally celebrating. These women had just taken my accounts, and I wouldn't have even known, but Lonnie, that little creep, sent it to me. And she was, and I didn't know it was Lonnie, and she was like, oh, you need to know this. And I see that the Reddit thread is like, oh, she relapsed, she's drinking. And they were so happy. And I snapped. I told Lonnie, I said, don't send me anything else. I was like, I can't, like, it was the most disgusting thing in the world. And Lonnie sent me so many things like that day. I also got sent that Rolling Rosemary had put out merch. She was trying to, like, it was never enough. You guys already took my platforms. That's all they wanted. All they wanted was to get me off of TikTok and take my hundreds of thousands of followers. They got that, and it wasn't enough. They made merch. They made multiple podcasts about it. They were like, yeah. So I snap. I start drinking a lot more, and that was one of the scariest days of my life. I almost took my own life in multiple ways. The cops came here. They sent the cops to my house, and they were hoping that I was going to get arrested. I have an entire phone call where Carrie Ann is like, basically they're planning on framing me and trying to get me 5150. And she's like, it's perfect the way she said this because we know what she meant, but it sounds so crazy. And my attorney is going to call the Erie police and try to get them to 5150 her. And this is so amazing. And this is what malignant narcissists do. They steal your property. They start a smear campaign about you. They do all this crazy shit. And then when you snap, they are so happy. And all they wanted was to get me arrested or 5150. And if my parents hadn't been here, that's exactly what would have happened. And I was drunk as a skunk. I literally tried to take my own life in multiple ways. I have never snapped like that. I didn't expect it to happen. It wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been drinking, but that's what you do to people. And I was even making jokes that day, like an hour before it happened. It just boom. Like when you see how much people want to hate you, how much they want to take from you, and how much they enjoy when you're hurting. And this is what malignant narcissism is. And she was dealing with a malignant narcissist, and I know that. And they get in your brain, and then they justify, they make you freak out, they make you do reactive abuse. And I snapped, and I'm so lucky to be alive. And I didn't talk, and here's where your little friend Caitlin comes in, right? Are you listening, Feral Goblin Queen? Yeah, put your listening ears on, okay? Because this is where your friend comes in. I didn't know Caitlin McWilliams at all. Never heard of her, didn't know her name, nothing, okay? So I've already been through all of this, right? After I almost took my own life, I didn't talk to a soul. I got off the internet. I didn't make a peep. Okay? It was absolutely terrifying. I literally snapped. I had my whole identity stolen. These women called themselves the Coalition, and they were so fucking proud of themselves. How, even if you hate somebody, if you drive them to the point that they almost take their own life and you're celebrating, you should be behind bars. These are grown women with children. We couldn't all just talk this out. They stole my identity. It's literal felony impersonation on a federal level. So I go dark. I don't say anything. And one day, I don't know how long later, I see a message. I literally don't know why I opened it, and I wish I never had. But it was something in the title that caught my eye. And I was just in absolute shock for a very long time. I didn't know what to do. I was planning on, obviously, I didn't care what happened. I couldn't believe that I relapsed on alcohol and almost took my own life. I'm so mad. Anyways, sorry, let me try to get through this. Caitlin McWilliams messaged me, and she said, like, my whole life changed because of DMs. Please don't entertain random DMs. Like, you don't know where they will take you. That's how Samara got in contact with me. That's how all these creepy people have changed my life. That's why none of my DMs will ever be open ever again. Like, literally, ever. And my life is so much better now. I hate people from the internet. I love a lot of you, the people that are really normal and nice. But this is where another scary part of the story comes in. So I have all of these terrifying, like, people that want to hurt me that I don't know, right? And now we're about to start the part of the story where it's people that do know me, or the people that gain my trust. So I'm in such a vulnerable position. I'm so terrified, obviously. And I get this message, and it's from Caitlin McWilliams, and I don't know her, but I knew I had seen the screen name from Hannah or something. And so I knew she supported me. And the DM was, she was like, I promise I'm not a scary person. Jesus Christ. Anyways, and I still don't want to believe that she's a scary person, but why did she do what she did? Why did Caitlin do what she did? She messed me up more than anyone. Betrayal trauma will make you want to take your own life more than anything. So here I am, so vulnerable, and she tells me, hey, I'm not a scary person. I promise. Like, I have a little group of people behind the scenes that watched what happened to you, and we're all really nice, and we happen to have some really important information, and I know you don't want to talk to anyone. I know you're really scared, but you're going to get, like, Samara is going to sue you, and we have, like, I just want to help you if you want it. I should have never responded. I was very scared because Samara had just taken my whole life and I had no information. So I start slowly talking to Caitlin, and I told her that I was so scared of people, and I told her that I would not talk to these other women. She kept saying, like, they want you to be part of this group chat, and I was like, no, I will. And she very respectfully gained my trust, and I decided to only go through Caitlin, and fuck her. Like, why would you go through all of this and then completely screw someone over? But she, so she had a bunch of information, but the reason why she had so much information is because she's obsessed with the internet. So I spark up this friendship with this woman, and again, it took me a very long time to trust her, but she slowly gained my trust, and I only went through her. And it seemed like there was a group of people who wanted to help me, and they did. But they had talked to Samara. They were a part of the whole drama, and I couldn't see it. So, but they had a lot really quit her job to help Samara, and she knew about like the revenge porn, and she like had all this information about like what Samara was doing to me, and so it was important. But so basically, yeah, Caitlin and I developed a very long-term friendship, and I thought I could trust her, and I thought that she had really big red flags. Like, I found out that she was one of the people on Aunt Karen's live. Like, she was defending me and talking about me like she knew me before. Like, some red flags, especially with this woman named Lonnie. So eventually I found out who Lonnie was, and Caitlin and Lonnie are very close, and Lonnie was making way more of a mess behind the scenes than anyone. Oh, wow, you worked with, hi, Isla, is that how I say your name? Did you work with, Mikayla? Sorry, I'm talking about so many different things. Did you work with Mikayla? I'm so sorry if you knew her. I'm so sad. And the reason I have her picture up is because I want to honor her name, and I want her face everywhere. I want people to know what happened. She took her own life because of internet bullies and pressure. We're not talking ill of the dead. I'm talking about my own story. So if you're new here, this is Mikayla Raines. She was running the Save a Fox page, and she just recently passed away. And I know it's confusing, but basically I want to plaster her face everywhere because our stories are so similar, and I wish I had known what was going on with her. No, you're fine. Sorry about that. So I'm just telling my story about what happened to me. So I'm sorry if it's confusing. I'm almost done with my story though. So basically, Caitlin and I, over the next year, the group that was trying to help me, they would get me information, but like what they were doing is just keeping this drama going nonstop. And I was never going to get sued. Nobody can sue me. So Caitlin did help me a lot. She did. But once the pressure was off, she never stopped. She was so addicted to this situation. So the people who helped me, they kept making this so bad. Like, they would go to Jubilee's lives every single day. They would, like, I have a woman who's in spiritual psychosis who literally said that, like, she is so obsessed with me that she ended up in a psych ward. She got taken away from her kids. She's ruined her whole life and just sits on live streams about me for hours a day. And it was it's so crazy. She still does it. And I would ask Caitlin and all these people to stop interacting with her. Like, stop it. And it's like this whole like subculture of people, and like they wouldn't let it go. And Caitlin would tell me what I could do with my platform. Like, I was starting to become a conservative, and like I don't even know if I can call myself that, but everything that happened with Israel, Palestine, like, and everything that happened to me, the woke left. Like, once you make them mad, like, I fought for these people for years, for the liberals. I fought for the liberals for years. You know how many people turned on me the second they heard a weird lie about me, called me racist, called me all like, I mean, no. And and Caitlin knew that. And I told her, like, I'm changing my mind about the trans stuff. Like, I had a trans person literally impersonate me to the government, and then I still had to call her they, them. She abused me, and she's not even trans. She's non-binary. She literally used identity politics to control me while committing crimes against me for a year. Like, no, I'm so done with this woke crap, literally. And Caitlin knew that, right? We would talk about that behind the scenes. Like, and then I would try to post about some of my newer views, and I literally was getting told behind the scenes, you can't post that. You can't post that. You can't say that. And I was like, what? These people who had helped me through this scary situation, like, were controlling me. Every time I get on the internet, they are on here. They're still on here. They would be on my live streams, talking about themselves, doing all this weird stuff. And every day they would just keep this drama going. And I finally said, this is enough. I begged them for a year. Like, okay, let's all move on. Like, I'm not getting sued. I got my platforms back. Oh, and that was the other thing is, like, so for 6 months, I had lost my platforms. Like, they stole it. So, like, we were all kind of like going back and forth online. But everything that I was getting fed was from Hags and Sleuthy. I wouldn't go look at stuff. Every day they were like, Carrie Ann said this, Jubilee said this, da-da-da said this. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe it. And they were making me crazy, like, seriously crazy. And I thought that they were my friends. I thought that they were supporting me. And during this whole time, I had very serious mental health crises. That's what happens when you get targeted by malignant narcissists. I had a few reactive abuse and meltdowns. I'm also autistic. I lost 4 years of my work. I thought I would never get my platforms back. I thought these people just had to steal everything from me just because they felt like it. I was getting bullied by a rich millionaire. I had groups of hundreds of people that wanted me dead, if not thousands. I had people showing up at my house. And a few times I lost it. That's called reactive abuse, right? Not only did I almost take my own life one time very seriously, but I had some serious meltdowns happen. And that's normal. And guess who I told about those things? Guess who was the only person that I told about some very personal things that happened to me? When people drive you insane, you know what? I don't have to do this for you, Feral Goblin Queen. I'm like telling you about Caitlin just for whatever. I don't need to anyways, but we'll just finish the story. I just feel like I'm doing work for that bitch and it's stupid. Anyways, I want to get back to talking about Mikayla too. So, but this is an important part of the story. So I told Hags, Caitlin, this girl, like the one person I trusted, like about some really scary things that happened to me. And I sent her a voice note about the night I almost took my life. And yeah, I had a couple serious freakouts. Like one time I threw something, and like that's what autistic people do. If you're autistic and you've never like thrown a drink or like thrown something when you're having a meltdown, like you're not autistic, like shut up. And Caitlin supposedly is autistic and has an autistic son. And she would like console me during these times, like when I would have these horrible, like she knew that I was under so much pressure. That's why she was helping me so much. And like one time I had this horrific autistic meltdown out in public, and I told her like I cannot hear about this stuff anymore. Like one of my best friends also died during this. Literally, like one of my best friends in the entire world died at 30 years old, like right when I lost my accounts. Like I was losing my mind, literally. Like this is life or death stuff. Like this kind of pressure makes people lose it. And the reason that Caitlin stayed by my side is because everything that happened made sense. It's called reactive abuse. When you're at your wit's end and something small pushes you over the edge and you throw something, like it was stuff like that. And I didn't tell anyone. Why would I put that on the internet? That's my personal life. Okay. And I told Caitlin, and there were a lot of things like that. We were actual friends. I know a lot of personal stuff about her. I truly thought that she would never turn against me. Even if we had a falling out, I thought we all talked about that. Me and her and Sleuthy, it was like, hey, no matter what, we will never screw each other over. These are the people that were helping me. So finally, I'm like, these people are caught. Like I asked them for a year to stop going to Jubilee's lives. Like, do you know how much time I could have saved if Hags and Sleuthy had just stopped with the drama? I would try to talk to Caitlin about stuff that didn't involve the internet, and she couldn't do it. And I finally was like, you're not my friend. And I got so sick of her because she was so addicted to the drama, and she didn't want to talk about real things, and she didn't want to be a real friend. And so last summer, I finally cut her out of my life. And I slowly ghosted her, and I didn't say anything. That didn't happen. You think okay. Good thing that's not what happened, you idiot. And no, it's not any different. It's an autistic meltdown. You absolute psycho. At a phone store employee, what the fuck are you talking about? Sorry, these people, see, they're here right now. These are the people, they're here right now. See, your friend wants to just continue to bully me about stuff that happened. I'm gonna have to start my live over probably. Anyways, so any sort of reactive abuse that happens, what if I take my own life? You don't bully people for things that happened in reactive abuse, and I take full responsibility for things that happened. But anyways, the point is I only told one person. Yeah, that's what they do. They come into every single live, they make thousands of burner accounts, and they try to bully me for things that happened. These are the people who used to be my friends. Yeah. Exactly. I got so tired of the drama. It was so insane. Exactly. That's literally what happened, Feral Goblin Queen. I said, please stop. I asked them for a year to stop going to Jubilee's lives. I said, I will block anybody. I didn't want to have to get mad at Caitlin. I shouldn't have had to like explicitly say, I'm going to stop talking to you. I tried to do it in really nice ways. And then I didn't come to the internet. I didn't do anything dramatic. I just stopped talking to them slowly. And I was running an experiment. I stopped talking to her to see like if she was really like sending me stuff, or if I was, I wanted to see what was happening. So I stopped talking to her, and Caitlin starts sending me all this stuff. The first thing was, oh, now Krissa is mad at you. Oh my God. Oh my God. And then she was like, I didn't want to tell. Oh, you know why Jubilee ended up in the psych ward? I was literally purposely not talking to Hags. And all of a sudden I get this message. I'm at the sauna, and she's like, hey, I don't want to bother you, but this is pretty serious. And she's like, we didn't want to confirm until we knew. But Sleuthy spent hours digging through Jubilee's Reddit. This is the thing. Hags and Sleuthy were so obsessed with Jubilee. They have 8 archives full of information about Jubilee. They reported her to CPS. They were so obsessed with her that it was out of control. And now they're her friend. You don't have a friend, Feral Goblin Queen. You don't know Caitlin McWilliams. Not the internet Caitlin McWilliams. And if you're her friend, you should go tell her. Yes, and she told people personal stories about me. Yeah, she's passing around that voice note where I'm crying and talking about almost taking my life. Does that sound like a good person to you? Who does that? Literally, who does that? Your friend has lost her mind because of the internet, and you need to reel her in. She acts like she has this business that she cares about. Why did she ever get involved in any of this? And if she can get close to somebody and get them to trust her, and then when I don't want to be her friend anymore, she just goes and tells dangerous people. She went to the most dangerous people I've ever dealt with in my life. and said, here's a voice note of Allie the night she almost took her life. Here's the most personal stuff that I know about Allie. Here you go, you guys. Here you go. Have a ball. Who the fuck does that? That's your friend. That's who she is. And I still have barely talked about it online. No, it feels, yeah, thank you, love. It feels good to talk about this. Sorry, I know it's kind of all over the place, but that's what, okay. So the major drama had like died down, but these people were keeping it going. And so I was trying to stop talking to them. So last summer, Caitlin and Sleuthy kept it going. And she sends me this thing and she's like, oh, Jubilee's selling your feet pics on Reddit and wants you to get hurt by these scary men. And I was like, what? So I call the cops and Jubilee ends up in the psych ward because your friend and her friend Sleuthy cannot leave Jubilee alone. They literally push that woman to the psych ward. Okay, that happens. Then all of a sudden, Hags sends me, she goes, hey, once again, don't want to bother you, but I maybe went and got those police reports for you. Your friend spent months. She went and put my name, impersonated me to the Freedom of Information Act, took all these dates that she has about me, got 3 months of police reports, edited them down, edited all this stuff, made it in this perfect little package so that I could get online and expose all these people. But you know what? It drove me crazy and it sent me into a dark space and I didn't need to see those police reports and that's not her place. And I told her that. And I said, hey, like that actually really messed me up. And she didn't say anything. She literally texted me back about something else. And I said, you're done. Like, I'm so done with you. And once again, don't tell me what to do. You can have virtual assistants. Oh yeah, are you going to pay assistant? It was your friend. Her ass down and saying, dang, I know this about my friend. Don't you dare try to give me advice about what to do with my DMs. I had a virtual assistant and she was a psychopath, your friend. Yeah, and Hags would do 18 hours of unpaid labor for me a day. And I was finally like, this is weird. This is really weird. And I had other people in my real life, like my real friends here in the real world, and my parents and my sister, they were like, these people don't have your best interest at heart. And I kept defending Hags and I kept defending her. And I was like, she's going to be so resentful towards me someday. Just, you need to shut up, Feral Goblin Queen. Like, actually, like, I'm going to mute you. You need to take a fucking seat. And if you're not going to come here, like, humble at all, like, get a grip. But, because I don't like your tone. You're still trying to, like, take little digs at me. Like, grow the fuck up. So yeah, so I stopped talking to Caitlin and I'm like, but I didn't bring it to the internet. I didn't make some big deal about it. I just stopped posting. I literally, like, went away from all of my little follower group and I just stopped talking to them and my life got so much better. And none of them would respect it. But then it finally seemed like there was some real separation. And I didn't want to block any of them because I was scared of them. These people are weird. I finally was so weirded out by Hags. So then it's October and I decided to talk about who I voted for, which is crazy, but it's weird. I almost thought that I was my own person. And your friend Hags decided that she wanted to destroy my life after she's already watched other people destroy my life. And her friends were in my comments. And so I texted her and I said, hey, like, can you guys please just leave me alone? Like, we're not friends anymore. Like, you don't have to come after me. You know, like, I was like, please don't start a hate group. And she was like, she just starts throwing my trauma in my face. And she was like, ha, 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 fuck you. And I was like, what? I was like, dude, what? She's like, I'm taking all the evidence and we're never talking again. And then now for the last year, I have been bullied relentlessly by your friend, by Zedgenox, by Jubilee, by Krissa. She went to all of the most dangerous people who want me dead and told them the most personal shit about me. You guys want people dead. You guys want the drama. That is disgusting. It messed with my brain more than I can ever explain. You don't do that to someone. I don't care. If you spend 18 months talking to someone all fucking day, I don't care if you have a falling out. That's just human code. That's like literally going to a man that R-worded a woman because you're mad at her and being like, let's be friends. And now Jubilee, you're telling me your friend Caitlin sat on live with Jubilee for 2 years trying to hurt her and get her kid taken and doing all this weird. They did to Jubilee what Jubilee does to me. You guys are all absolute loser psychos. They weren't sleuths. They were doing exactly what Jubilee does to me to Jubilee. They would sit on her live stream, screen record it, send me stuff, get everybody all riled up, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, and then when I don't want to be their friends anymore, when I realize they're all weirdos, I don't take it to the internet, no. But they do. And now they've been going around for the last year, putting out like this horrible stuff about me, twisting some truth with a bunch of lies, making fun of the night that I almost took my life. That's not internet beef. You're just an absolute psychopath. And all of you like have karma just, oh my God, the karma is eating all of them alive. They all look absolutely terrible. Okay, Rolling Rosemary's husband, like the 2 of them have ended up in the psych ward. I mean, Sleuthy lost a baby because of the stress. These people they don't care what happens in their life. They have all had such horrible things happen and they don't care. They still won't stop. They can see a story like her, like Mikayla Raines, and still that's exactly, I've accepted that. I know they're not going to stop. So I'm just going to bury them. Metaphorically, of course. I already did. That's why they hate me so much, because they know they can't control me. They know I'll always have an actual voice online. When they don't, they're so jealous, and they want it to be close to me so bad. And they can't handle that I can thrive fine without them. In fact, my life is so much better. They're not young. These people are in their 40s. These are 40-year-old women with children. Let me show you Hags. I should have put her picture up. Sorry, I got distracted. Ew, 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 ew. Yeah, that's Caitlin McWilliams. Her name is the Hags Cure. Please go send her some messages saying that she bullied her ex-friend to the point, like, I literally, it's so bad. She's not pretty, actually, but at all. And her soul makes her ugly. How can you go and tell people some of the scariest stuff about me and stuff that happened because of reactive abuse and go try to hurt me after all of that? Yes, I'm going to post a ton of videos about this. I'm about to go buck wild about this. That's why I'm here today, y'all. That's why I'm here today. Her name is the Hags Cure. She acts like she has a wire wrapping business. She doesn't. I mean, I'm sure she has somewhat of a business, but I think she probably sells like 10 things a year. And she just stays at home and thinks that she's an internet sleuth. Oh, and I tried to handle this with her privately, and she refused. Don't ever say that you don't want internet drama when you won't handle things privately. That's so embarrassing. Like, this whole thing is so embarrassing. Yeah, the wire wrapping, I know. I don't want to like bash it, because like some crystal stuff is cool, but I do want to bash it. Hers are so embarrassing. Like, I have some followers that sell crystals and stuff, and I think that some of that stuff is cool. But yeah, like 2006 is calling. Like, nobody wants a wire wrapped pumpkin, honey. Oh man. Oh my god, these burner accounts keep coming in and saying that Caitlin's so pretty. That's so funny. You guys are so obvious. Oh, you're an old raver. Yeah, I used to date a wire wrapping guy. Like, it's so funny. But anyways, she has this business online, but then all she does all day, she thinks she's a sleuth. Like, you're not a sleuth. And if you go and hurt people who were already victims, I don't understand how you can do that to someone. I genuinely never, ever thought that she would do that. I would have never told her very serious things about me. I would have never cried to her about the night I almost took my life. They pass around a voice note that I only sent to her and act like it's like the most coveted like piece of evidence. Like, I have nothing to hide. I was targeted by malignant narcissists. Anything that happened after that is reactive abuse. And I also take full responsibility for the few times I did really freak out. And luckily I'm still alive, and I didn't end up in rehab. I didn't end up in a psych ward. I didn't like, I could have literally, like, I'm so lucky to be here. I could be on such a horrible alcohol journey after all of that. And I have stayed strong, and I have I've built an entire life offline, and I can still come back here whenever I want and fucking dominate. Absolutely fucking dominate, because I'm smart. And they hate it. They thought that when I came out in October and kind of changed some of my views about things, that people would hate me, and they don't. And I'm so much stronger than all of these losers could ever dream of being. Thank you so much. So thank you to the people who have stayed here and listened. And I'm sorry to take a detour, but this is such an important part of the story, where like the people who support you, if you support people online, and then you can turn on them, like, that is horrible. Like, you will push people to mental health crises. She's putting some of my most personal secrets online. And if you can go to someone like Jubilee, the flip-flopping shows me that this woman has no integrity. These two groups have been fighting for 2 years about me. The scary people that I didn't know, and then the nice people who wanted to be my friend. And then I didn't want to be their friend anymore, and now those two groups have merged. That's another thing that makes me feel like an absolute psychopath. These people have no morals, no integrity. I have been offered Carly's phone number. I've been given all this information, like, oh, like, I could go collude with the other side, but I'm not a fucking psychopath. I don't know where you guys lost human code, but this is what I realized about this woman, is that like, she's been online for years and years and years when I wasn't. And she thinks this is normal. And she thinks that her friends are actual Discord losers. And she thinks like the whole reason she got so obsessed with this situation in the first place should have been a red flag to me. But I wanted the information so bad, and I thought she was my real friend. And I think we were real friends. That's why this is so confusing. How can you turn on someone like that? And instead of us having an argument, having it out, saying anything, she just blocks me on everything, won't speak to me, and then goes and talks to the most dangerous people. Yeah, I'm straight on friends for a while. Nobody needs friends like that. I mean, I have some great friends in real life. I'm just saying, like, she has this narrative that, like, I needed her as a friend or something. Like, that's a fucking joke. My life has finally gotten so much better since you're not my friend. If you can go spill secrets about someone like that, like, first of all, you look dumb as hell, because she's telling people stuff like, oh, Allie and her sister had a falling out. Oh yeah, like a very normal life thing. That I confided in you because my sister is literally in an abusive relationship, and it's a really hard situation for our family. But no, yeah, Hags, please. Yeah. But anyways, it feels good to get the whole story out. And I love how Feral Goblin Queen has been real quiet since. She could have handled this privately. None of this ever had to get brought to the internet. And when I came out that I voted for Trump, your friend and all those fucking weirdos could have just left me alone. Why do they think that they get to treat me like I'm the Antichrist after they fought for me for 2 years? Right. You're real quiet now. Feral Goblin Queen, anyone? Thank you to all the people who've stayed in here this whole time. You guys are great. Let's do a celebratory. And I'm about to go on YouTube, Twitter, everywhere. I need to get my ass on Twitter. What have I been doing? If I can talk freely over there, I don't know. Cosmic Barbie. I don't know. Probably one of those creeps. Thank you, Felicia. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Cosmic Baddie. Thank you, baby. Oh, sorry. Hi, Cosmic Baddie. Somebody was just talking about you. I'm like, I don't know who Cosmic Baddie is. Probably a creep. And then I'm like, what's up, Cosmic Baddie? Exactly. And so I've tried, like, so basically I have gone off and on the internet